Good morning from the Grinder podcast. We have started this thing up and we are going to give you some of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of sprinkles and a little bit of nice and all the good stuff.
Hold on, time out. Let's be real here, because this podcast is about being real, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When Addison does that, like he just did right now, he has no idea what the fuck he's about to talk about. Let's just go ahead and clarify that right now. That's him just trying to spit something off the top of his head. I will apologize on his behalf. But hey, you subscribe to this, so it's partially your fault. All right.
Yeah. Somebody has allowed me to go and continue this. So. Yeah.
Hey, you guys, we're going to say some words and talk about some things.
And I don't know where it's going to go, but
but James is on here, so he'll probably get all serious and say something sad in a few and bring us all down. So just give him a minute.
just let it, let the course take its course. I do want to start us out today though with a little bit of a quote that I saw this morning.
Ooh, hit us with
it. Being okay if it happens and okay if it doesn't is a very powerful place to be.
Ooh, I like that. Say it again.
Being okay if it happens and okay if it doesn't is a very powerful place to be.
I like that.
When we ask for things in life, right? Whatever it may be. You know the old saying, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that when you do receive the thing that you want, or you've worked so hard for this piece, and maybe you don't get it, is your action or your character or your internals the same whether you get it or not? Like if you do get this, like you put all this work in and you achieve what you were going to, are you the same person at the end of the day if you had not gotten it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for me personally, it's one of those things that you can get caught up in. But the moment that you stop caring what the result is and you're just doing the work, stop measuring off results and start measuring off of effort. Yeah. That's what daily wins are.
Well, and let's talk about effort too. Effort doesn't mean you're the first person in, last person out always. It means you're the most effective.
Right. Effort. What are you putting into it?
Yeah. So there's a big difference. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've watched people work all day and get fucking nowhere. I've worked all day and got nowhere because I sat there and chased my fucking tail all day, right? So very big difference there. How effective are you?
How much effort are you putting into the day, to the task that you were doing? And taking out, because in business and life, there's a lot of cases where you don't get the result very quickly, which can be discouraging for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the moment you stop caring about whether you get it or you don't, and you start focusing on just the effort that you're putting into the game, that's where you win. When you think Michael Jordan came in to win every game, no, he made sure that he was the man who put up the most points.
Yeah.
Because if you control you have nothing to worry about. Because you just put in your effort and your results, and you did the work that you were supposed to do. You can go home, look in the mirror, and say, I gave it all I had.
Yeah, no, I very much believe in that. Like if you went as hard as you can for as long as you can, dude, It is what it
Don't feel
is.
bad.
So usually when somebody shares with me where they feel like lost on something,
Yeah.
it happens every once in a while in business, right? I'll have somebody I know in business that'll call me and be like, man, this happened. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So what do you do normally when that happens, right? You call somebody and you share it with them because you're so fucking lost in the thought. You can't even process. So you're like, I just got to tell somebody, maybe that'll make me feel better, right? Very natural. And usually when it goes to it, we talk about a few things, a little vent, whatever, what they're stuck on. And if it's bad, I tell them straight up, man, that's bad. Here's my thought. You go find a date on the calendar. You circle it. I've said this numerous times on this podcast. You circle that day. And in between now and that date, whatever is feasible, you go like hell. Yep. Like your life depends on it. You give it everything you have. And when you hit that date, if it's not there, then you can feel satisfied in the decision you got to make. That somebody may look at it like it's quitting or whatever. Like, go all out till that date. Don't put any extra thought into what am I going to do, that kind of thing. Just go all out like there's nothing else. Get to that date, nothing's changed. You have your answer.
That's right.
So
that's right. And it's your mindset changes a little bit once you start focusing on how much are you actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of times that I'll come up in this in this office and I'll get caught up in the weeds in something, or maybe I got something on my mind that day, which usually I don't allow it to fall into my office time. But there's some days that, you get caught up on, fixing a puzzle, and you can allow that fixing of the puzzle to affect how effective and efficient and how much effort you're putting into other things.
Yeah.
Where you might be searching for a distraction or this or that, right?
Yeah.
And not actually being focused on the things that need to be focused on.
Yep.
I mean, hell, I went through that when we were having to find a new admin. I started getting to the point where I was going to post stuff and be proactive with the amount of effort that I was doing. Got to the point of where I was surfing the social medias instead of posting the advertisement, just because I felt like, whatever you feel like.
Yeah. What Steve Sims has a quote. He says, you don't drown from falling in the water. You drown from staying there.
Yeah. In action, man.
And that's the fucking truth.
In action.
You don't drown from falling in the water. You drown from staying there.
Which is another thing that applies to, pretty much everything. When you stop doing action and you get caught up in the thing that you're trying to put action towards, bro, you're going to cause anxiety. You're going to cause anxiousness. Which might be the same thing. I don't know. But you're going to start building up this bigger and bigger ball of just not completing things because you're not making action. And something that helps pull me out of that is, we talk about a task list. There's some people that make fun of us for task lists. But it's something that you can go to, reference, and say, hey, I've got to do these things. What are the actions to take?
Yep.
Which brings back into action.
Yeah. Also, and I'm speaking of this because it just happened Wednesday. So 2 days ago, you got to look back every once in a while. You got to reevaluate too. So Wednesday, I had to do a personal financial statement for something, had to get something turned into the bank. And it was a different form than I was used to seeing. And I'm not great at those forms, like some of those forms. So I think it was a little complicated. It was kind of confusing. A buddy of mine had given me the form. So I completed the financial statement, personal financial statement. And I was really surprised by the number on there for net worth. Like it caught me off guard. So I sent it I asked him, I was like, hey man, I know you don't want to see my personal stuff, but like, can you look at this, make sure I didn't mess this form up? I don't want to look stupid with sending this into the bank. He's like, yeah, absolutely. So he came back. He's like, dude, that is a envious spot to be in at 38. And I started kind of like, I didn't really put much thought into it. And I started thinking, I was like, damn, like it's amazing. Like it got me back to the grateful, never satisfied. And, you know, I'm a perfect example of somebody who shouldn't have been able to do that. Like I think I've not done 10% of what I am capable of, right? What I think I can build here with my team and surrounding myself with good people, like what we can accomplish. But, you know, sometimes you got to stop and look and see what actually has happened. How many steps you've actually put behind you. Don't live in the past. It'll get you fucking nowhere. No regret in the past. Learn from it. Yeah. Change from it. Be grateful from it, whatever it may be, but don't live in it. But man, you got to look back and see. And I start thinking about it. And I just start getting so grateful. I'm like, man, I'm the perfect example of someone who like shouldn't have gotten really anywhere. Like, I mean, when I graduated high school, I went to college, finished one semester, dropped out, was cutting grass at a university. So while people were going and learning, I was cutting the grass that they were walking on and taking the trash that they were throwing out of the facilities, right? So you had your awesome frat party and the trash can was full of beer cans. I was the kid that was walking up and cleaning all that shit up for your next weekend party and made sure your lawn still looked good. That's what I was doing. I was a lawn boy. And then I fell into insurance, and I say broke for a really long time. I mean, broke for a really long time. I've told the story many times, literally not selling anything all week. And I would go out and eat lunch on a Friday when I had no business eating lunch out on Friday because I was too broke to even afford it. And driving back to the office, praying to God, please let me sell something. Please let me sell something. Because if not, like I wasn't going to have any money to pay bills. and now to like look and see where it's accomplished, like I need to be grateful in that moment and go, okay, well, I'm not where I want to be, but where I could be.
Yep.
So I started thinking, well, then why did it happen? Why did it come together? Maybe there was some luck, I'm sure. Absolutely. There's no doubt there was some luck in there, right? There's a lot of effort, a lot of hard work. And then I realized it's like, you know, there's a lot of things my parents instilled into me. I picked up the phone, I called my parents, got them both on the phone and told them flat out like, hey, I just realized this and I just wanted to call you and thank you for what you've instilled in me. Like I sat there and thought about it. It's like, you know, y'all were never the parents. If I said, I want to go do this, y'all were never the parents to say, well, you know, that's pretty hard to achieve, or that's, you know, that's tough. That takes a lot of schooling, or it takes this, or it takes that. You're always like, okay, go do that. Yep. See what you got, right? You didn't baby me in it, but you didn't discourage me in it, right? You want something, go put some effort into it. Go earn it.
See what happens.
And I don't know. It changed it opened my perspective up to, you know, the thought of, I want to stay hungry. I don't ever want to get soft in it. Yeah. Because I mean, immediately after I got grateful, I was like, maybe I should spend a few bucks on some stuff I want. Pussy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, no, man, I got a mission, what I'm trying to do, and like what we're trying to create here in this environment. Like, I need to stay the fuck after. I need to keep my head down. I don't need to let off the gas right now. That's the wrong thing to do. Yeah. You know, so I don't know. It just it was good perspective for me. So make sure you're working to give yourself some kind of perspective, and even if it's bad, man, like know how bad it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But that touches base on something, James. What got you through the quote unquote hard times?
The nagging belief that I could do it. You know, like just the overwhelming belief that it could be done. Like I could withstand, you know, and then just what I believed in myself, like, hey, I'll outwork anybody kind of thing, right? Like I can figure it out. You know, I mean, it's just always kind of in my thought, no matter how big the problem, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. At some level, you will figure it out.
Yeah. And
so which almost leads to another quote is this thing's going to be full of quotes today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Hope you pick one out.
Yeah.
the man who enters the storm is not the same man that leaves the storm. But the storm will pass. In every aspect of your life, you will have storms that you will have to go through and weather and deal with it. And at the outside of that, you are stronger for dealing with it, right? You have a new perspective. You have a new mentality. You have a new outlook on knowing that I know what that is. I know where that leads, but I also know where I am now. And it gives you a thought process that is different than the one that you had prior to the experience that you just went through. Being able to say that you realized at the moment of like, hey, I'm going to lunch on Friday because I've got to make a sale. And if that sale doesn't go through, I can't afford the $12 I just fucking spent. That's called dedication to a dream, to a goal, to dedication to yourself.
Well, I think you're charging it up for me. I think it was stupidity me going out and eating lunch because
Maybe.
I probably went and did that because I felt bad for myself because I've been beat up all week, right?
Yeah.
So I would go eat something even though I couldn't even afford it. That's the way I see it. I like your spin better.
Yeah. Look, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And so it's something to consider, knowing that if you were dealing with, something in business, maybe you're just having a hell of a time starting up your new startup. Maybe you're having a hell of a time, going through something in your personal life, whatever it might be, knowing that storm, you don't stay in a storm your entire life unless you choose.
Yeah. You and I think anytime you can look in the opportunity in something, even if you got to lie to yourself on it, like don't be naive like me, right? I mean, you can scale that same situation. You hadn't sold shit, you're broke, and you're going out to eat lunch. Well, like if your business is broke, don't go and commit, tens of thousands of dollars to a new project that you have no basis. It's just going to work. I mean, maybe you might need to be a little more clever than that, right? So, but it's like I just try to stay optimistic in it. And I think most people who are working for themselves or just trying to do better for life, they try to stay optimistic. I don't really like using the term hopeful because I think hopeful is a good way to get yourself in trouble. But the point I'm making with that, I had a conversation the other day. Somebody was saying something about how tough it is to hire right now. Millennials suck, I think was the thing. And you know what I said to him? I was like, I hope they do suck. I was like, I hope everything they say about millennials is true. And they're like, well, that ain't going to help you, with you hiring people. I'm like, dude, like Chick-fil-A may have hiring problems right now, but they take teenagers and make them rock stars.
That's right.
People focus too much on the knowledge. Build the skills into folks, man. Build the skills. Like that's what matters. Your skills need to get better, not just your knowledge, your skills, good. Because other people will quit and give up because it's difficult and they will not be rewarded for it. My team and me, we're going to figure it out. We're going to bump heads. We're going to work, do stuff. We're going to get sharper. We're going to build our skills. We're going to do all these things. And there's a long-term payoff to that. And it's going to be discouraging at times. There's going to be times we're going to want to quit. There's going to be times we don't want to come in. There's going to be times we don't want to do it, but like we still do, I've literally watched people cry at the end of a day at my office. And then the next morning they're back. They don't fucking quit. That's people I want around me. That's why one of my core values is persistence.
That's right.
That's what winners do.
That's right. And something that I've got a question on.
Hit me with it.
You hire somebody. And I think we're similar in the way that we hire, but I may be a little bit more loosey-goosey on that aspect, but
a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah, a little loosey-goosey on it. What is the one thing that you look for in when you're hiring somebody?
Eye contact. It's my first thing.
Outside of eye contact. Internal.
Well, I like to look, so let's run through it. So I like to look at resumes. I don't really care what's on your resume, so to speak. I just want to see how you put words together and grammatically how it's put together, right? Like, did you take the time? Like, okay, if you suck at grammar, which I've sucked at grammar my whole life. Well, when it's serious, I have people double check it that don't suck at grammar, right? So like, you have the wherewithal, okay, I need to have somebody look at this to make sure it looks good, right? So it's structured well, is the grammar correct? And then I make sure you're even worth my time on that. Once I do that, when you come in for the interview, the primary thing is eye contact. I want to see your eye contact. And then honestly, at the point now, I almost try to talk people out of the job because it's going to be difficult. I mean, I think I'm fun, but I don't think this is an easy place to work, So like, I kind of want to, I don't want to sell them on bad. I just want to sell them on the idea it's going to be difficult. Like, I'm going to challenge you. And as soon as you get it down, I'm going to change it. And then we're going to get it down and I'm going to change it again. Yeah, it's getting my crew, man. I make more changes. It's ridiculous sometimes because I want us to evolve. But anyways, back to your question. So grammar, then eye contact. And then I want to see what they say, how they respond to me when I go through our core values. It really sticks out with someone making great eye contact. They light up when I start speaking our core values, and then they chime in. Mm-hmm. That usually is it.
So I'm definitely a little bit more loosey-goosey than you, for sure. I hire based off of feeling. Mm-hmm. And it's never done me wrong. The only time that it's done me wrong is when I did not listen to myself. And it's, you could come in and apply for a job that you have zero credentials for. I don't care. Because if you come and you sit in my chair and we sit down and we're having a conversation and I get a weird vibe in the sense of this person is not, they're putting on it. They're layering it out, but maybe it's just that gut feeling, right? And there's sometimes where I let people override my gut feeling, which happened a few weeks ago, and it turned out bad, right?
Yeah.
Fired within 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, something like that.
Yeah.
There is a deep connection that you have with some certain people when you're having a conversation, like the eye contact, like the touching base, like them giving you feedback, right? But inside this body of yours, whether you guys are going to connect on a certain level or you're not.
Yeah.
Right. I look for that being able to say, hey, look, I may, like you said, change things up, move things around. I need to know that you're going to trust my gut, right? Are we sitting down at the same place and saying, hey, look, are we on the same page? And when that happens and everything just kind of meshes together, it doesn't matter what's on your resume. If you worked at McDonald's for 5 years, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care, because what you need to show me is effort. What you need to show me is willingness to learn and consistency. Those three things, I can build you into something.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal. You come into this place, you will leave being able to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
At least you'll have some of the skills, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we saw that with my one of my first hires outside of admin and stuff like that. Like, he came in, he learned his skills, he moved up to a new position outside of my company. Yeah. And it was a connection that he was here too long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I know for a fact, like, I value what I put into him, and I know that he values it back, and he'll touch base with me.
Yeah.
Those
That's
are the
cool, man. I got that with a guy that worked for me years ago, and that's always been my thought. Like, I'd rather you come in here and literally, I mean, be a sponge. And even if I'm a stepping, I mean, I don't want to just be a stepping stone,
right,
but if I end up being that, oh, okay. Like,
right.
but like you damn sure better leave here with something, knowing you learned something.
Yep.
Like, if not, that's a waste of both of our time.
100%.
Yeah. So I had a guy do that, man, he's out there crushing it. Great for him.
Right.
Good dude, great work ethic. Just turned out this wasn't the right industry. He wasn't committed to it. And that's fine. There's shit I wasn't committed to before I got into this.
Yep.
So it's okay. Just figure that shit out and make a decision.
That's right. And the way that you go about that, and you are building, let's say you're starting from scratch, and you're about to make that first hire.
Mm-hmm.
Base it off of certain skill levels, right? There are important skill levels that certain positions need.
Yeah.
Right. And you hire your weaknesses out. Right.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, like the girl that we're bringing on in 2 weeks, she ended up coming in just on her lunch break from her other job. She told me that she was unappreciated, right? I gave her a little scoop of like what we do here, how we do it, what I would expect. She put her 2 weeks in the next day without me even offering her the position.
Yeah.
Gave me no option.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not effort and commitment.
Yeah.
And my gut was telling me 100% she's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, when I'm interviewing, I do look for, it's got to be somebody I'm going to like. Like if they're crusty, I ain't gonna, I had somebody work for me one time that flat out just didn't like me, that I was aware of. And honestly, she didn't like me because I was younger than her.
Yeah, that's the difficult part.
And it was weird. So, I mean, hey, that was her complex, not mine. So it didn't last. Yeah. But I will say there's a new question I have added, because I'm continuing. One thing I realized I think my company lacks as a whole, and I'm at fault for it, is communication. Like, people communicate well with me, but there's a struggle to communicate between everyone. Mm-hmm. And so now my new thing to ask is, how well are you at taking feedback, right? If something was wrong or you did something wrong, like taking feedback from others. Everyone always says, I'm pretty good about that. I mean, if they come at me the right way, I mean, somebody walks over and calls me a dumbass, I'm going to have an issue, right? Of course, who wouldn't, right? But they're like, yeah, no, I'm great. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to know. So now my new question is, okay, great. How good are you at giving feedback? And everyone clams up. Like, not very good at that, like, okay, well, you giving feedback where something's wrong is just as important as you taking feedback when you're wrong.
That's right.
And so, like, that's one of the new things I'm asking, because I don't want to be the center of the universe here. I want them to be able to run this place without me, in case I go crazy and just run away one day.
Yeah. Australia's looking pretty nice these days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about Australia. I always seem to turn back to Australia.
That seems cool. I'd like to visit there.
Yeah. There's also this little place in Mexico that I've thought about, like if shit goes south.
What's that?
Well, if I told you,
then everybody would go, huh?
Yeah. No, it wouldn't even be that. It would just be, you'd be able to find me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's literally the escape plan. Yeah. Long story short, folks, we appreciate you. We want you to understand that at the end of the day, the storms will come, you will come out of those, and you will be a stronger man or woman. I'm no biologist, but I know that you can do it. Okay. And at the end of the day,
I'm no rocket surgeon, but I think you're right.
At the end of the day, rock and roll, do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, it's not going to matter whether you've got the degree, whether you don't have the degree, whether you've come from a bad place, whether you grew up in a poor home. Like, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it comes down to what you're dedicated to, will do. Like if you have the passion, you have the drive, and you have the consistency and the commitment to do what you're supposed to do, the universe just pays out, man. And as soon as you realize and you stop caring about what the results are at the end of it, and you are thankful throughout the entire process, there is a key to all of this. And that is the key.
Yeah.
Consistency, gratefulness, and not caring what the outcome is, and just enjoying the moments that you're in.
Yeah.
That's the key. Like, and people preach that. People will tell you that. And they're going to tell you it's not about the money, because you can have a shit ton of money and not have any of those other things, and none of it matters.
Yeah.
None of it matters. Because if you're not passionate or you're not enjoying what you do and you're not in the moment of the things that you are doing, none of it matters.
Yep.
So go out, go get some, a little bit. And we just want to say we appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you lending your ear. I appreciate the feedback that you do give us when we do get feedback. And that's something that we are wanting to bring more of in, right? We want to make this the top rated podcast in our section. The only way we do that is if you guys are giving us feedback, making us better, so that we can bring you the quality of content that you want.
One little caveat there.
Shoot.
If when Addison was just speaking all that and you thought of any excuses in your head why that couldn't be you, you got your answer. It won't be you. Like if you thought, well, I can't be happy, you know, like I said, everybody tries to go to money. Money's not everything in life. All it is a tool. It's about your freedom. If you stated the reasons why it can't be you, you know what? You're 100% correct. It won't if you keep that mindset.
Accept it. Change it.
Dominate it.
Yeah. That's a little bit of something different that we'll go into it in a later podcast. Maybe we need to have an episode. Don't forget to check out Origin USA and JockoFuel.com. Get to your good stuff, and they're going to take care of you at the end of it, because guess what happens? When you get to that checkout button and you see that little, hey, you have a coupon for this? You're going to say, yes, I do. Coupon code GRIND10, grind10 at checkout. Save yourself some 10%.
How much does it save you?
10%.
Jesus, man, they're just giving that shit away over there, aren't they?
Hey, they support us. We support them. We support our listeners.
All right.
So understand that I've got big goals. James has big goals. You have big goals. And we're all working in the same place. We're all doing the same thing. We're all fucking connected as human beings. And we're all just trying to make our piece of the pie as big or as small as we want it.
That's right.
At the end of the day, it's not a James got this much pie, Addison got this much pie, and I got this much pie. It's about that pie is so big that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is no scarcity of the pie. It's an abundance pie. So go get you some.
Oh, a little abundance pie. Tastes delicious.
What's your favorite pie?
Peach pie.
Valid point.
Give me a little bit of that peach pie.
Okay, you could close this out now.
Grinder out.